this devlog, we're going to be adding brand new iOS sync triggers in my mobile Git client app called GitSync that I've been working on. If you're new, hi, I'm Viz, and if you're not, welcome back. GitSync is an app that I've been developing to make it easier to sync and interact with Git on mobile, and it's available on Android and iOS. This devlog series will give you a peek behind the curtain and show you how I go about working on a project like this as a solo developer. If you want to learn more about the project or the codebase, please check out devlog 0 for more info. But to cover the basics, GitSync is a Flutter project with a Rust API layer for Git operations. So yeah, today we're going to be working on sync triggers. On Android, GitSync has always had the ability to trigger a sync whenever an app is opened or closed, but on iOS this hasn't been available. I want to bring that feature over and also improve the custom intents for both platforms while we're at it. First up, let's talk about app-based sync. So on Android, there's always been an app-based sync trigger that fires off a sync whenever an app is opened or closed. It's a really useful way to keep things up to date without having to think about it. I'm now bringing this same feature over to iOS as an optional sync that triggers whenever GitSync is opened or closed. On top of that, I've spent some time improving the custom intents for those that want to use them in automations. So the iOS and Android intents now take an index to trigger the sync on, optionally. And under the new app sync settings for iOS, I've provided a link to instructions for users that want to use Apple shortcuts to trigger a sync whenever any app is opened or closed, all in the background. But for those that want to set it up right now, it's just creating a new automation in the Shortcuts app. Creating a new automation, setting the trigger to be when an app is opened or closed, and then setting the action to be immediate, and to be GitSync's sync now trigger. From there, the sync should be triggered whenever your selected apps are opened or closed. You can troubleshoot this using the notify on trigger option for the automation. So now, Android has an app-based sync through an accessibility service, scheduled sync on any set schedule, and all the tiles, shortcuts, and intents as always. And iOS now has a brand new app-based sync for GitSync only, and also the option to have app-based sync for any app through the shortcuts. Scheduled sync on an arbitrary OS-controlled schedule, or on any set schedule through Premium, and all the widgets and shortcuts too. So finally, I'm going to knock out a couple of small fixes and changes on iOS. The first is to add a fallback if the ESS initialization has failed, so users don't get stuck looking at a dead UI. And then we're going to update some logic to make sure an LFS clone shows some feedback in the clone dialog too, so users know something is actually happening. That's actually all I have for today, but in a future video, I'm thinking about doing an overhaul of the store screenshots and maybe some other visual updates, so stay tuned for that. That marks the end of this video. If you want to stay up to date, feel free to join the Discord server, and if you have any thoughts or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like if you liked, and subscribe if you want to do that too. But for now, have a great day, and see you in the next one.